For years, we have been wondering how high we can build future skyscrapers. Recently, news came out that there are plans for a building that is taller than Mount Everest and that it could fit up to 30 million people inside. That sounds unbelievable, but that's true. Let us explore and compare some of the world's tallest towers ever built on Earth. Burj Khalifa. The tallest skyscraper in the world is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It is very tall, and it is 828 meters or 2,720 feet high. It began constructing it in 2004 to increase the number of tourists. It cost $1.5 billion to build and has apartments and hotel rooms. It is not just a place to live or stay. It also has a very high observation deck and a very large fountain outside. They completed the construction of the Burj Khalifa in 2009 and opened it to the public in 2010. It may be difficult to build even taller skyscrapers. It is also important to note that most countries have laws that regulate the height of buildings, and it is very expensive and requires a lot of space to build such a tall structure. But there is a new skyscraper called the Jeddah Tower that is being constructed, so who knows? Perhaps it will be even higher. The Jeddah Tower will be the first building to reach a kilometer in height, but it will be dwarfed by what is coming later in this video. However, there have been some major issues during its construction. The project was halted in 2017 because some of the main investors, such as Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, were arrested by the Saudi Arabian government for corruption. There were still problems with the tower even after they were released a few months later. It is difficult to transport people up and down such a tall building, and architects are trying to find a way to make it stable in the wind. The Jeddah Tower is trying to outdo the Burj Khalifa, but there are even taller buildings in the pipeline. Have you ever been to Dubai? Comment down below. Exceed 4,000. Back in 1995, the Taisei Corporation had a big idea, the Exceed 4,000 skyscraper. It was supposed to address Japan's housing needs in a very innovative way. This mega building would be 4 kilometers high, higher than even Mount Fuji. It would be like a whole city inside with shops and groceries so that the residents would not need to go outside. It was designed to accommodate 1 million people, and it was supposed to be a symbol of clean energy as it was powered by solar energy. But that was a big challenge, and they were not sure how to get that much energy. They also had to locate the right place for such a big structure, and they believed it had to be in the Pacific Ring of Fire. If they could do it, the Exceed 4,000 would be the tallest and most expensive building in the world at a cost of about $900 billion or even more than that. 7 trillion according to some guesses. The Exceed 4,000 would need 3 million tons of steel, the equivalent of 300 Eiffel Towers. However, the exact time frame for its construction is still unknown. Architects are not sure whether such a large project is possible at the moment. There were rumors in 2007 that the Taisei Corporation was planning to construct the Exceed 4,000, but the company has since clarified that there are still some challenges that need to be addressed before they can proceed with the construction of this structure. Tokyo Tower of Babel. In 1992, during the Global Environment Summit in Brazil, the idea of the Tokyo Tower of Babel was introduced by the Toshio Ojima Laboratory at Waseda University. This tower was envisioned to be an extraordinary skyscraper, reaching a staggering height of 10 kilometers. That's taller than Mount Everest and even higher than where airplanes fly in the sky. If it had been built, it would have been not only the tallest tower but also the tallest structure in the whole world. To support such an enormous structure, architects calculated that it would need a base covering around 4,100 square kilometers. To put that into perspective, it's more than double the size of Houston, Texas. The grand plan for the Tokyo Tower of Babel was to accommodate a whopping 30 million people inside its towering walls. However, despite these ambitious plans, the project never got off the ground. The main reason was the crash of the Japanese economy around the time when they were thinking about starting construction. Although Japan has since recovered from that economic setback, the colossal cost of the project remains a significant barrier. It's estimated to be a staggering $306 trillion, and even if money wasn't an issue, it would still take an estimated 150 years to complete. That timeline makes the project seem nearly impossible to achieve. The launch loop. The launch loop is a concept that was first proposed by Keith Lofstrom in 1981 and involves the use of a system that can propel objects into space. It consists of a series of cables attached to the Earth and propelled by magnetic levitation like the Shanghai Trans-Rapid Train. This loop would stretch an incredible 2,000 kilometers into the sky and would reach up to 80 kilometers in altitude, 8 times higher than the altitude of commercial aircraft. The launch loop is a proposed space elevator that could launch vehicles into space without the use of rockets and could be used for space tourism and exploration. The loop travelers would be able to travel at a speed of 14 kilometers per second. However, there are several challenges that scientists have to overcome before it can become a reality. The estimated cost of 1 year of operation is about $10 billion, and the technology is not yet ready. The engineering challenge of building the magnetic levitation system for the loop is immense. Another challenge is the search for a suitable location that is not densely populated for construction. However, the potential of the launch loop to change space travel is still a promising vision for the future. Space elevator. The space elevator concept was first proposed by Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky in 1895 and envisaged a tower that would extend almost 35,800 kilometers into space. Can you imagine a structure reaching that far into the cosmos? But at that time, there were no materials that could support such a large structure. The space elevator has been a topic of interest since the 20th century and has evolved into a tensile structure with different companies trying to make it a reality. The concept is a cable that goes beyond the Earth's atmosphere and an asteroid as a counterweight and a climber who ascends the cable. But the question of what material to use for the cable is still open. Some argue for diamond nanotubes due to their strength, while others argue for graphene, which is a carbon-based material. The space elevator project will not be complete without addressing a number of issues. Researchers need to overcome issues like material strength, cable stability, and safety. However, the potential advantages of a space elevator for space exploration and transportation make it a promising field of research and development. The space elevator has many challenges, such as the danger of being hit by space debris or the lack of materials for such a high structure. Technical and the $10 billion price tag make it even more difficult to achieve. But there are physicists in Chuzoka University in Japan who are currently trying to develop their own versions of the elevator. The Obayashi Corporation in Tokyo plans to build a space elevator by 2050, and the developers in China plan to achieve this by 2045. The competition to construct these tall buildings shows the increasing interest and investment in space exploration. In terms of whether I would like to ride the space elevator, it is an interesting proposition. The concept of flying into space without the use of rockets is very attractive, but the safety and feasibility of such a journey would be the most important factors. What about you? Would you like to experience the space elevator? Please let us know in the comments below.